$1 million leads. I always have a lot of resistance to making these for whatever reason. I look forward to making my other videos about math and learning more. But that means we have the most to gain because of the resistance I have and the effort it takes to overcome. And so what did we do yesterday? I believe we got, okay, oh yeah, yep. I think we ended on a pro tip that was about, you want to be as specific, the ads to be as specific as possible without getting so long that they lose efficiency. So short and sweet, but also specific. That's the golden ratio for the ads, okay? And then we got through the what, who, when framework. The day before we got through all the what. So I'm not going to go over that again, the 8 parts of the what, but we'll talk about the when and the who of the what, who, when framework. And what, who, when framework is Hormozi's framework for creating ads that answer the question of why should I be interested in what you have to offer. So you're using a combination of what, who, and when. And so the who is basically about status and how the prospect will gain status when they purchase your thing or take up your offer. And there's many dynamics that you can create a lot of different ad angles from. You can create it from the perspective or the client, or the perspective of the prospect, or the perspective of the person giving him status, say his spouse or his kids or his boss or his coworkers, etc. And these different groups of people that are giving the person status, you can do all the different combinations and permutations of all these different angles, and also from the prospect, like I said, perspective or the other's perspective. And then finally, the when framework is about basically getting the prospect to think about past, present, and future, not just the here and now, but back pacing and future pacing, so that the prospect can get in the frame of mind of seeing that their decisions have impacts, big impacts over the course of their life. And so the decisions and their indecisions have led to, like in the past, their decisions and indecisions from the past have led to their present, and their decisions and indecisions in the present will lead to their reality in the future. And this whole getting them to think in the past and present and how their decisions shape their future leads to highly motivate or a lot of motivation to take action and make a decision. And is there anything I'm missing? Use the visuals as part of the storytelling and that to keep it succinct. Okay. Yep. Wow, I will say that was extremely succinct. 3-minute recall for everything that we read yesterday. That's something I will say about Hormozi's book, and at least this advertising and business type of information is, it's so much less dense than academic, like math books and learning books. But that's not a knock on it, but it's just much different. It usually takes me a lot longer, I think, to review what I did yesterday with other stuff, but maybe not. Anyway, all that to say, let's continue reading, and I'll recall when I get the chance. And that's it for the section on, just about it for the section on the value section of the ad. Remember, there's the 3 parts of an ad. The value section is the middle part, basically answering the question of why the prospect should be interested. Sorry, I just had to write that down. I've got this little note card because currently we've got successful ads Here it is. Currently, we've got successful ads, but when I need to create new ads, I just wanted to make sure I capture all this. I mean, it's in video, but these videos are not extremely organized as of now. I'm just working on learning and elaborating and retrieving in these videos. And so they're kind of sloppy. So yeah, I want to make sure I have this as well. So I basically said to create new ads first, this is that shoot, did I even recall this yet? No, I have not. Anyway, I guess I'll just recall it right now. So basically, before I tell you about the note card, I'll recall this stuff. So where do we start? Have I recalled at all this video? I don't think so. Okay, what did I read about? So basically, he reiterates once again that the what, who, when framework is answering the question of why the prospect should be interested. It's showing the value that the prospect will get by taking your offer. Then it gets into a pro tip, basically saying most social media platforms have ads libraries that you can look up competitor videos and similar ads. And so he kind of just said, like, if you want to get unlimited inspiration for creating ads, which I took a note on that note card, go find a competitor, similar ad or competitor's ad that's been running for a month or over. So you assume it's profitable if it's been running for a month or more. And then with that ad, you basically take note of the call out, how they're illustrating the value elements, and then their call to action. And then if you do that with 50 competitor ads and similar ads, you'll have like all the information you need. And I think like, I'm gonna even take notes on this. Like if I do this again, like if when I go and do more research on creating a new ad, I'll go ahead and do this, and I'll take notes on callouts, value elements, CTAs, and then even use ChatGPT to help synthesize all of the data and create new ads. So that's interesting. You kind of went, and then the action step. Okay, sorry, I'm having a rough recall right now. I'm using too many cues. I should have just shut the book and recalled this all. He went into the difference between a long ad and short ad, and he basically said a long ad versus a short ad, the difference is the amount of angles that we cover in the ad. So a long ad has more angles, more perspective potentially, to illustrate like the status increase, and the short ones will have less. And then the action step, which is also in that note card, is basically to know the 8 elements, the 4 value elements, and then the 4 opposites for your offer, and then to illustrate the status increase that the prospect will receive from different groups, and show that like the past, present, future, and how the decision now will impact their future status. All right, pretty solid, I think. And then I kind of just took a note of when trying to create new ads, do that, get unlimited inspiration box, do the action step, and then kind of summing up. You're trying to maximize perceived value in order to get prospects to take action, and you're answering the question of why the prospect should be interested, and you're just interested. So there we go. Very solid. I'm starting to grasp Hormozy's frameworks around ad creation and paid ads very well. I mean, I've read 15 pages now and I've listened to tons of podcasts, and I've read his offers book 3 times, I think. Listened to the audiobooks he recommends. Like I've done a lot, but really reading this section really in depth because I run a marketing agency, so I really want to spend a good time on the paid ads. And I don't think very, very many people understand Hormozy's frameworks at this level, because even he doesn't, I don't agree necessarily with the way he recommends learning. He just says like put an audiobook on 2 times speed and then just follow along with it as it goes. That's just too fast to actually take anything and actually like synthesize the information in your brain, put it in your own words, remember it, and then apply it. So I'm going to go ahead and read this author's note and then the last paragraph of the value section, and then we will be on to the call to action section, the last section of the 3 parts of an ad. I'm really excited. Coming up in a page or so is this landing page section, because we're running Google Ads and they're doing pretty well now, but I'd love to see what he has to say about landing pages. So, all right, be back in a sec. All right, that last author's note was basically about copywriting, and he's saying don't be overwhelmed with copywriting. Don't think that it's the limiting factor. He thought if it was a limiting factor, you'd spend a lot more time on it. He basically said get good enough. Once the ads are profitable, scale them until they break. Once they break, solve the next bottleneck. Continue. So basically don't be overwhelmed with this copywriting skill if you don't have it. Just you need to need to have a good offer and explain it well. And you can use the what, who, when framework to explain it well. And if you do that, you'll be fine. You don't need a bunch of copywriting skills. Scale, find the next bottleneck, solve it, continue scaling, etc. Nice and fun. And that last little note at the end of the section on the value section was basically just there's tips and tricks at the end of the chapter in the videos, and to the next section is the call to action to get them to take action, become engaged leads. All right, how much time do I got left? We've got 2 minutes left, a little less than 2 minutes. So call to action section is going to be next, and then there's going to be step 4, and then the landing page section, and then run paid ads part 1 conclusion. So now let's try to recall, with only this minute left, what is this step 4? What were the other steps, and what were the steps about? What were the 4 steps for? Running paid ads. 3 was running good ads. 4 is getting their information. Oh yeah, the 4 steps of 4 problems that you need to solve to run paid ads, I think. Choose a platform. Right? Choose a platform. Choose a platform, run good ads, get them to get a way to collect their information, and pay the minimum amount to run ads on that platform. Is that the 4? Four principles for choosing where to advertise. Oh, here we go. Knowing where to advertise, getting the right audience to see it. Targeting. That was number 2, targeting. Step 1. Yeah, there it is. Choosing a platform, targeting, actually creating the ad and running a good, successful ad. That's the anatomy of the ad section. We're still in it. And then the 4 is getting a way to collect their information, getting permission to contact them. Okay, and that is exactly the end of our time, and I'll talk to you guys, wait for it, tomorrow. All right, see ya.